Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Jessie, and welcome back to another episode of Rewire to Inspire. The show where we'll dive into self-love, learn tangible ways to rewire the brain, and discovering your soul's purpose. The goal of Rewire to Inspire is to encourage listeners to begin doing the hard work, to get curious and open to maximizing your life. Our mindset shapes how we live. Depending on life events, traumas, and personal experiences, our mindsets are all vastly different. However, one thing we all have in common is the ability to rewire our mind, to change the narrative, and to pivot our lives. I hope you leave each episode with the belief that you are so worthy to live a life true to you. I look forward to chatting with you every single Tuesday and Thursday and helping you grow exponentially in all areas of your life. Without further ado, here's today's episode. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my podcast, Rewire to Inspire. I am your host, Jessie Brown, and I am super duper excited to be jumping on the microphone with you all for episode number 143. I hope you are all having an incredible day. Happy Tuesday if you are listening to today's episode on Tuesday. We are moseying through July. I feel like everybody I talk to is like, wait, where did June go? Oh my gosh, we're halfway through July. I feel like time is just slipping by and summer's going by, but nonetheless, every single day, it's so important that we just count it as a blessing and find gratitude each and every day, especially when we notice that time is passing by. I think it's a really good indicator to take intentional time and come back to ourselves, come back to our body, find gratitude, look around us, look up, tell those around us that we're grateful for them. So I hope that this is a reminder for you to maybe reach out to someone that you care about and just let them know that you care about them, spread some love, spread some gratitude. And so I am coming into today's episode with a grateful heart, with a full heart, and I'm very, very, very excited to talk about today's subject because it is something that I am very passionate about. If you missed last episode, number 142, one powerful question you should be asking yourself, I really, really encourage you to check out that episode after this episode. I think in a lot of ways, they really connect with each other. And so today's episode is going to be all about goals. And really why a lot of people, I feel, don't set goals, either fall off the wagon with setting goals. And this topic, I have so many lenses in which I want to come at today's episode because I have not always had a good relationship with goals. However, I do think for a lot of my life, I've been on the higher spectrum of enjoying setting goals. I can remember being younger, setting basketball goals for myself. So meaning how many assists I was going to get, how many points I was going to get. I remember setting school goals when I was in high school, when I was in university. And so although I've always kind of naturally had a passion for setting goals, I didn't always know the significance of it. And I furthermore didn't really realize that it wasn't that common. This is one thing that I'm realizing, and I think I want to do an episode on this really, really soon, is just because you know something really well and something is really familiar to you does not mean that it is to everybody else. And I'm recognizing how much when something is second nature to us, we can just presuppose that everybody around us also thinks it's common knowledge. And I'm recognizing by working with so many clients and just by observing those people around me that setting goals really isn't that common. And although we know, I've shared the stat before, 80% of people do not set goals. And then even among the 20% of people that do set goals, it's roughly around 3 to 5% of people that actually hit their goals. And to me, that is just so alarming in so many ways, because if you don't set goals, there's really no direction in which you are headed. I think a lot of us are just floating through time, trying to get through day-to-day basis. And as always, I come at my podcast from a trauma-informed perspective. And I understand a lot of the reasons beneath why we don't set goals. However, I wanted to share with you guys today 10 different reasons why I feel like people don't set goals. And this is things that I have observed, things that I have learned, things that I have also personally experienced, because although in some areas of my life, I'm really good at setting goals, in other areas, I'm not. And so I want to get into that with you guys today. But the first thing that I would love to do to start off, as always, I like to kind of put a little nugget, if you will, in your mind, an intention in your mind while you go into today's episode. And today's little mindset question I want you to ponder throughout today is, what is your unique relationship with goals? When I even say the word goals, what comes up for you? What do you think of? Do you have specific goals that instantly come to mind? Are you sitting there kind of feeling like, rut-row, I feel outed, I don't set goals? Whatever it is, being honest with yourself is the first step, as always. And so I encourage you to sit with that, to ask yourself that question, and to reflect on that question while I go into these reasons why I truly believe a lot of people don't set goals. With the intention of, when we get off this episode, maybe you feel a little bit inspired to even set one small goal and to build from there. So, the first reason why I feel like a lot of people don't set goals, and I see this all the time with my clients, is because you're setting the wrong size goal for your level of belief. And so I use this pyramid, if you will, with my clients all the time. And this is something that Next Level University taught to me. I have to give credit where credit is due. And it is basically this pyramid of saying like a 3% goal, a 6% goal, and then it compounds, I think, it doesn't double. It goes like 100% goal, 80% goal, 60%, 33%, 6%, 3%, maybe. I can't remember. Anyways, you get the gist. I'm going to explain this as best as possible. Basically, what happens is when we have certainty around something, meaning we are 100% certain that we can accomplish something, we are more likely to take action. So, for example, an analogy that they use all the time, and I'm going to borrow it because it always lands, is, how certain are you that you can go to Subway tonight and get a sub? I am 100% sure that I can do that. But if we were to look at the 3% goal of that, it would be, okay, how certain are you that you could go to Subway in the next 2 minutes, get a sub, and eat it? Not very likely. That is a 3% goal. What I believe happens, and although that's just like a funny, quirky example, apply this to your life. If you are setting 3% goals that you already know in advance you are not going to hit, think of how much that's impacting your level of belief in that. And when we don't believe that we can accomplish something, when we do not believe that it is possible for us, we are not going to take action. We are going to avoid. And when we do that, what typically happens is we actually get a negative association with setting goals. Because every time we set a goal, an intention, and then we fall off the wagon, we don't hit it, we fail, whatever our response is to that is going to dictate our relationship with setting goals. And so if you have set intentions, like January is huge for this, we set intentions, and you're setting goals that are far beyond your actual level of belief and you don't hit them, what's actually happening is your belief is taking a deeper hit. Because every time we commit and we say we're going to do something and we don't, that ends up hurting ourselves. Basically, we're beginning to break promises with ourselves. And as we say on here all the time, if a friend broke half as many promises to you as you broke to yourself, you probably wouldn't be friends with them anymore. Yet we do this all the time when we set goals. We create these massive milestones that we want to hit without recognizing, okay, is that actually setting me up for success, or is that actually going to inevitably hurt me and in some ways pull me backwards? So that is the first reason that I feel a lot of people don't set goals, or if they set them, they stop, is because you're setting the wrong size goal. Start small and build momentum. Show your brain that you can follow through, that you can set goals, that you can achieve them. I think that this is something that comparison game comes into, because we think that if we don't set these massive goals, then we're not cool enough or it's not good enough. Know that a goal is only going to work as much as it supports you in your life. You know your relationship with adversity. You only know your relationship with, hard challenges. And so if you're setting yourself up for failure, you're really only doing it to yourself. So focus on what you uniquely want and try not to compare to what other people are doing, because what's working for one person might not work for you. The second reason that I believe nobody sets goals, or people struggle to set goals, is that nobody around you is doing it. it makes so much sense. If 80% of people don't set goals, it's really, really easy to just follow everybody else. If nobody around you is growth oriented, has a growth mindset, is aspiring towards something, you hear the quote all the time: you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. This is very, very true. The people around us influence us subconsciously more than we realize. And so if we have people around us that are setting big goals and are trying to become the best version of themselves, even if it's in their own unique way, in some ways that's going to mirror onto us, right? We are going to pick that up, and we are inspired and influenced by the people around us. And so if people around us aren't setting goals and are just living that day-to-day life, it's a lot easier for us to just, I don't want to say get off the hook, but in some ways it is letting us off the hook because we base our standards on what the people around us are doing. And so I know for me, when I began to shift to more of a growth mindset and I was very goal oriented, I knew I had to get away from people that were not growth oriented because it was holding me back. I was falling into old world. I was falling into patterns and habits that weren't in alignment for me anymore. And now I've manifested and attracted amazing, amazing people that are all growth oriented that inspire me to become a better version of myself. And so if there's even a little part of you that wants to have more of that accountability, wants to have more of that growth intentionality in your life, I encourage you to find people, find a person that is able to hold you accountable, which is another thing. Is when we don't have people holding us accountable and in pushing us in the best way, it's really easy to just go day to day. And I know this again because everything I'm sharing is because I've been on both sides of this. I know what it's like to be like, well, if I set a goal and I fail, then that makes me feel like crap, or I don't really know what to go for, which is some other reasons I'm going to get into. But that is a huge reason, is because if the people around you are playing small, you are likely also going to play small. And so get around people that make you think bigger, make you want bigger, inspire you. Those are the people that we need to be spending our time with. Number 3, you don't know how to set a goal or create a system to support it. This one is huge. I've done a podcast episode on here before about how to set goals, but if you are basically just saying, I want to lose 20 pounds, and that's it, that's all you're saying, that's all you're doing, you are so unlikely to hit that goal. And I don't mean that with malintention, but what I mean is if you are not being specific and setting yourself up with a system to achieve that, you will likely just wander and hope that you are going to stumble upon it. Writing things down already makes you 40% more likely to accomplish something, yet alone then writing it down, having a date, having 3 habits under it. I am currently tracking 20 different habits right now. I started with just 3 years ago. The reason I do that is because I have very specific goals, and I know that without my daily actions, I cannot get there. It's basically little pebbles, little inch pebbles, that those 1% improvements that aspire you forward towards your goals. But if you're just saying something and you have no merit, no grit, no necessity beneath it to push you closer to it, you will likely just have a mindset of, I'm going to stumble upon this eventually. Oh, it will just happen. If you want the goal bad enough, you need to have a system and to be intentional about how you are going to set it. Now, again, I understand if 80% of people do not set goals, it's like, well, how the heck am I supposed to know how to do that? We're not taught how to do that in school. I love the acronym SMART goals. I definitely encourage you to check that out. It encourages you to be specific and measurable and have a time management approach to it. And it can just set you up for so much more success. And so if you're someone who's like, okay, I just don't really know how to set goals, which again is a huge reason why we don't, I encourage you to just start there. Start very small. I'm going to say this so many times in today's episode. Start small. If goals are new to you, you have to build momentum. You have to show yourself that you can do it. If you've never done it before, it's like a muscle. You got to build that. You got to work on that. And I also need to remind myself of what it was like in the beginning. Because again, now that's that part of me that's like, oh, what do you mean you don't set goals? Like, it's so common knowledge. It's not, it's rare. And so if there's even a part of you that is wanting to do that, I hope you know that you're a rock star and that that's freaking awesome. And that the more you do it, the better you will become at it. I do promise you that, but you have to be willing to try, intentionally try, and actually take action. Number 4, you don't see the value. If you do not see the value in something, you're not going to do it. Oftentimes, we don't see the value in something because we've never seen the other side of it. This happens all the time with results in life. If you don't feel like you'll see value by eating healthier, by moving your body, by getting around good people, you're not going to do it. You have to ask yourself, what is the contrast between my goal and where I'm at right now? And is it worth enough to me to take action? And if the answer is no, you won't. That is a huge reason I see all the time is people don't know the value that setting goals has on our life. Again, you don't have to have these massive goals. I know that I have huge goals in life, huge aspirations. That doesn't have to be your case to set goals. It could literally be, I want to get 8 hours of sleep a night. I want to eat X amount of calories a day. I want to spend X amount of time outside. I want to read X amount of books this year. Goals are supposed to be unique. They are supposed to inspire you and you only. They're supposed to lift you up, to give you intention, to give you direction in life. I think so much of why our mental health is struggling is because we don't have intention. We don't have direction. We are just wandering. If we lived a little bit more intentionally and actually asked ourselves what we want in life and worked towards it, don't you think it would be a little bit brighter of a life for all of us? But again, if you don't see the value within it, you're not going to do it. And so find things that bring value to you, things that are important to you, things that you aspire to be like. I encourage you to ask yourself who you look up to the most and then why. Why is that? What is that quality? What is it about them? And do you believe that if you put in enough work and you set clear intentions, you could inch your way towards being similar to that quality that you aspire to be like? Number 5, this one might be the most common. You're comfortable with what you have. You are comfortable. I do not like the word comfortable. If you're comfortable, it means you're not growing. And again, I know I'm unique. I know that I'm weird in the way that I don't like to be comfortable. I like to challenge myself. I like to continue to grow. As soon as something I benchmark against my goal and I've hit it, I'm like, cool, what's next? That milestone is always moving. And yes, I take time to celebrate and enjoy. And my goals bring me a lot of happiness. And so for me, it's like, it really fills my cup. But as soon as you become comfortable in something, and again, I have areas of my life that I'm avoiding setting goals because I am comfortable. However, if this is holistically your life and you're just comfortable living day to day, again, if you're okay with that, that's okay. I want you to know that that is okay. However, if there's even a part of you that wants more, and I do think that goals could benefit all of us, that is my truth. I stand by that because direction in the way that our nervous system and bodies work, it likes to have that system set up for us. It likes to continue to grow. There's a reason that our brain is designed to always grow and expand and to continue to evolve. And when we become comfortable, we stop working those muscles in our brain. And so it's almost like we put them on ice. But the more that you start to work them and you open your consciousness and you challenge yourself and you get out of that comfort zone, you will surprise yourself. And I know this to be true because I've continued to inspire myself more and more over the years past because I'm getting outside my comfort zone. I'm challenging myself. But I do think that that is a huge reason why people don't set goals is because you're comfortable with where you're at. And I want you to know that some ounces of that do come from lack of self-belief, because if you're comfortable, that is the level in which you feel you have the belief in yourself. But I encourage you to even reflect back on where you are versus where you were 5 years ago. Did you put in the work? Did you make shifts? Did you take leaps of faith? You've likely shown yourself before that you can be uncomfortable, but depending what your relationship and your trauma response is to being uncomfortable is going to dictate your level of goals that you set for yourself. But I encourage you to just reflect on the fact that challenging yourself and getting outside your comfort zone is one of the best things that you can do. Number 6, you have a negative belief towards goals. So I kind of mentioned this one before. I feel like if you've tried to set goals before and you didn't hit them, which you likely didn't hit them because you didn't have a proper system to support you, you might actually have a negative belief with setting goals. And so I encourage you to assess for yourself, again, as I open today's episode, what is your relationship with setting goals? Do you think that that can shift? Do you want that to shift? What inspires you? I think When we have any kind of negative belief towards something, negative bias, past experiences, we're going to avoid. We avoid the things in which give us pain or cause us to turn within. If that is a big mirror for you, we will likely avoid. But I think that that is a huge reason why folks don't set goals, is because you've been shown a negative relationship with it in some way, shape, or form before in your life. Number 7, when we miss, you give up entirely. My friend, failure is the best thing in the world. Missing is the best thing in the world because it shows you a lesson. It teaches you a lesson if you choose to view it in that way. When we miss, it is not the end of the world. But if you miss and then you have no momentum and you don't get back on the horse, that is when it's detrimental. Missing 1 day, 2 days, 3 days is better than missing every day. I encourage you to ask yourself your relationship with failure, with when you miss. Do you feel like you're someone that when you miss, you're like, well, that's it? I have a client who struggles with this big time. And a lot of it comes from she feels like a failure when she misses. And I have to re-inspire her and rechange her mindset that without missing and without failure, you're not growing. It's inevitable that you're going to miss. It's inevitable that you're going to fail. The more that you build that momentum, though, and get back on the horse faster, the more you're going to build that resilience. But if you just try and fail and give up, you're not going to show yourself any new awareness. You're not going to grow. Your mind is not going to expand, and it's going to stay the same. And so next time you miss, don't stop. Change the system. Change your approach. Change what you're doing to set yourself up for success, and knowing that missing is just a part of the game. You have to shoot. You have to keep trying. Inevitably, eventually, some will land and you're going to be like, okay, perfect. And then you're going to miss again. And then you're going to try again. It's all about trial and error. And that is okay. We welcome that. If anything, I encourage it. Failure is actually a very beautiful, beautiful thing. Number 8. This one is that trauma-informed piece. You're in an active state of trauma. If you are in a place where setting goals is in no way, shape, or form in the front of your consciousness or in your abilities, I want to just acknowledge that as well. I think that that's something that I want to bring into my consciousness when I'm working with clients, when I jump on the microphone with you all, because if you are in a toxic space with yourself and in life, it's going to be really hard to have a good grasp and a positive grasp on the future, especially if you're living very much so in the present and in the past. Being able to look at the future almost seems impossible. But I do just want to preface that even in the deepest, darkest midst of trauma and in hard chapters of life, setting goals can actually be something that can really support you. And obviously, this is going to look different than setting goals when you are maybe in a healthier place. But having intention each and every day is really, really, really good for your mental health. Very good for your mental health. But I did just want to throw this one in there because I acknowledge that if we're having a harder time in life, it's going to be that much more challenging to feel worthy, to feel adequate, to feel like we even can think outside of our day-to-day life. And so if you struggle with this one, I definitely encourage you to reach out. We can hop on a call and I can see how I can support you with this, because I do know, and I have seen so much evidence that setting goals is a really, really good way that can actually help you get out of that active state of trauma and overwhelm. Number 9, I feel like I have a sneeze coming and it's like, oh my goodness, there's nothing worse than when your nose is like, yup, we're about to sneeze, but I'm not going to let you know when I'm coming. Okay, I'm glad I got that out because I was having a hard time speaking. Number 9, you don't feel worthy of the results. Oh my God. Heaven forbid you set a goal and you feel like you're worthy of the result. Guys, why are we so bad at this? Why? Who are you not to set and hit these goals? Who are you not to accomplish your wildest dreams? I think a huge reason we don't set goals is because we don't feel like we're worthy or capable of getting there, yet alone celebrating the results. This one still, I struggle with this one still. A lot of imposter comes up for me with this one because I'll set a goal and I'm like, girl, no way. There's no way. And so you back the goal up and it's like, okay, but if you don't at least shoot for it or try or have some intention behind it, you're definitely not going to hit it. And so a lot of today's episode is about your level of worth and belief in yourself. If you don't feel like you're worthy of the results on the other side of the goal, you will keep yourself small. I encourage you to ask yourself, who are you not to achieve that goal? Why are you less worthy? If somebody came to you and said the exact same goal that you're setting for yourself, I guarantee you wouldn't tell them, girl, you're not worthy of that. Oh my God, no, you don't deserve that. No, you would encourage them. You would lift them up. You would tell them to shoot for the stars. Yet with ourselves, we're like, nope, you don't deserve that. Who are you? Imposter comes in. We hold ourselves back. We got to stop doing that. It is so much better to set massive goals, to try and go for them and to grow and learn as we go, than to self-deprecate ourselves and to not shoot for the stars and to aspire towards something bigger because we don't think we're worthy of it. So this one might have some underlying work that needs to be done to heal in order to set those bigger goals. And that's why I say start small. Start so small and build. The last point, 10, last but not least, fear of the perception from others if you fail. We know that a huge way that you can achieve goals is by announcing them to other people. So you're held accountable. However, I think a lot of us don't do this because we're fearful that if we don't hit the goal, other people will perceive us a certain way. I remember I had this fear big time when I started my podcast. If I fail, how are others going to perceive me? So much of all of this, it's almost like we need to put blinders onto the outside world and take time to tune within ourselves. It is not selfish to tune within and to focus on you. If anything, we need to do it more. Fear of perception of what others will think will always hold you back in any area of life. And listen, I get it. I'm so guilty of this too, you guys. It's hard. It's hard because we're wired in that way. We're wired to care about how others perceive us. We also constantly analyze other people and are constantly, taking in feedback from what others think of us. But I encourage you to ask yourself, would you rather not try out of the perception of what other people will think, or in 20 years wish you had tried because that's what's best for you? Again, this one has levels of belief and worth attached to it as well. But I want the fear of keeping yourself small and not going for the things you believe in to scare you more than what other people will say. Because in some ways, maybe you setting goals and going towards them is actually going to inspire other people to do the same. Maybe you are the first step to inspiring those around you to set goals and to kickstarting something great. I know it's easier said than done, but allowing the fear of other people's perception will keep you small in every area of your life. And also, if the people in your life are not supportive of you trying and failing, they're probably not your people. They should be encouraging of you, supportive of you trying, and aspiring you to want to become the best version of yourself. And so those are 10 reasons, you guys, in which I feel like people do not set goals. I want you to know that I'm guilty of all these. I think a lot of us are guilty of all these, but I want you to know that the contrast can be a significantly different narrative, but only if you intentionally choose for it to be. Your life will not shift. You will likely not stumble upon these things. You have to be intentional and to just try and see what happens. I know it's vulnerable. I know it's outside of our comfort zone, but I also know that over time and with enough reps, your relationship with goals can actually become really beautiful. It can become like second nature, while knowing that the only way to get there inevitably forever is to try and to fail and to learn from it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, number 143. I am so excited to chat with you all on Thursday. Wishing you all the most beautiful, beautiful day. And as always, if you'd like to connect, please reach out. I'm on Instagram at Jessie Brown 13. I also have my link below. If you want to book a free 30-minute call, I would absolutely love to do that. I am taking on a couple new trial clients. So if that entices you in any way, shape, or form, I would love to connect with you and just see how I can support you on your own unique journey. So thank you guys so much. Wishing you a wonderful week. I look forward to chatting with you all on Thursday. Bye, you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning into today's episode of Rewire to Inspire. I absolutely love connecting with you all, so make sure you're following me on Instagram. I am at Jessie Brown 13. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to leave a review or share with someone you think would enjoy. I look forward to chatting with you all next episode. And remember, get out of your head and into your heart.